It's Raquel. Welcome back to Recovery to Wellness. This is where survivors radiate badassery. It is currently May 21st, 2025, and I'm doing my second video book review that I'm filming today for you guys right now because I have to hurry off to go return a bunch of books to the library and then come back home and then do a few other things before I head to sleep tonight, because then I have work the next 2 days. So I'm trying to squash in as much as I can into today. I had a pretty good day. I kind of fell asleep for a couple hours because I didn't have coffee earlier, but I have coffee now. It's actually not a Mary Lou's, it's just the same cup. So we are doing a book review. We are on video book review number 31. The book that I am reviewing for you all is this one. It is Happiness is 500 Ways to Be in the Moment, 2016, by Lisa Swirling and Ralph Lazar. I think it's Lazar. It's nonfiction, self-help, psychology, and mindfulness. And it's 271 pages, and it has all of these little tiny illustrations throughout the book. So just all sorts of illustrations, which I'll show you some of them. These particular ones that I liked and such. I read this over the course of 7 days. The very beginning of May on May 3rd, and then up until, every other day or so, up until May 14th, 2025. I read outside quite a bit for it, and I often listened, well, I guess I didn't often listen to music, but sometimes I listened to music while I was reading. Illustrations wise, my rating for this book is a 3 out of 5. Writing wise, about a 2 out of 5, and overall recommendation score of a 2 out of 5. I would not recommend this book, but I also don't, apparently it's once again, I say this quite often, but I have no context for anything. So apparently this is a series of books. There's multiple books within this series. I'm not sure what number book this is in the series, but it didn't have, so for instance, I have no context for the rest of the series. I saw this at the library and I was like, oh, that looks good. And I was like, oh, it's short, it has lots of illustrations, it's gonna be an easy read, it'll be fine. I'll probably really enjoy it. Well, I didn't really enjoy it, so spoilers, didn't really enjoy it. It was just hard to get through for some reason. It was just really, I think what happened too was, so for instance, when I read 5 Good Minutes in the Evening, which is also another series but they have the 5 good minutes in your body, the 5 good minutes in the evening, 5 good minutes in the morning. Wendy Milstein and Jeffrey Brantley, that's right, okay. So when it comes to their books, I really enjoy them because that every time you take the book out, it has an introduction, the same sort of reintroduction, reintroducing the concepts in play that will be in the following pages that will come after it. This book, if it had more of an introduction to what it is, why it is, how it is, all of that would have been really good for me because, again, I have no context for it. So it right at the beginning, you flip the page and then boom, the book starts. Happiness is right here, and then boom, it just starts. It just throws you right into it, and I'm like, bro, I don't have any context. What is this about? How did it come about? What is it about? All of that. So for that, I didn't like it very much. And again, it took me about a week to read, which normally if I really loved it, I probably would have read it in a day or 2 or 3 at the most. With Clear the Clutter or 101 Seeds for Library Joy or the 5 Good Minutes series, that kind of thing. I would have read it a lot sooner, but I didn't. So some things I liked about it, something that was cool and therapeutic, was the letting the emotions flow prompt from page 28 that I thought I gathered a lot of awareness, mindfulness, and acceptance from. So this one up here. I've also taken photos of the specific ones, so I will maybe include it in the review. Oh, I love this one. I actually was thinking about this the other day. This one I really liked, down here, which is the prompt that a cozy room with twinkle lights. I have to put new batteries in. That was page 56. I have to put new batteries into my fairy lights over my bed because they're dead and I want to have them on. If I would have put my tripod on, I would have put us with the fairy lights around my bookcase, but I didn't do that part, so. Ooh, I liked the rain being white in this image. I don't know how well you can see it. So I thought that was cool. Page 66. I liked hugging goodbye but not wanting to let go on page 70. I thought that was beautiful. I'm not going to show everything just because I don't want to get copyright flagged. I don't want to have copyright infringement. Ooh, I like this. This is just really, it's gorgeous in its simplicity, which is exactly what I wrote on the tab. And just the believing with the unicorn. I just thought that was really, really beautiful. And that was on page 72. This image reminded me of how I used to be in college. It's finding a secret place to write and just being able, like, I would honestly hang out in like stairwells and stuff. Like, it was a really comfortable time for me. And I think also it's an interesting thing of like, you know, as a writer, like if people see you writing in a sense, they don't necessarily know what you're writing about, which I guess can be helpful if you're maybe shy or like you don't want people knowing what you're writing about and stuff, because you could be journaling, you could be writing an essay, you could be doing schoolwork, you could be writing fan fiction. There's a whole host of things versus like other more observable art forms like photography or filming or drawing and such. Like that's something more people can see you do it and like kind of get an idea as to what you're doing, or you know, observe you doing it in a sense. But writing, I feel, is more like you could be writing anything and like people probably won't comment on it, but if you're like in the middle of a photo shoot kind of thing, like especially if you're with other people and stuff too, like someone can see you like taking photographs of someone else and like, I don't know, I mean technically I suppose even like in a photographer point of view, like in the sense of like if I have done photo film shoots where I have like my phone going filming me photographing, and you don't necessarily see exactly what I'm photographing in a sense in the moment, but like when I post edit it, like I can add it. But I guess it's just interesting because like in writing, if I'm like real in deep with a fanfiction, nobody would really know because I could be writing anything, versus other types of art forms are a little more like if I'm drawing a picture and somebody kind of looks over my shoulder, they can see what I'm doing. It's just writing, I guess, is a little more subtle and a little more not secretive, but like more hidden in a sense, which is interesting. I liked this one, watching the tides for hours. That was a good one. And that's on page 129. This is where I got the idea to film my own night routine. So I'm planning to be doing that as soon as possible, at least at the time that I'm filming this video. I want to restructure, plan, and re-establish a night routine for myself. And just film the whole process, in a sense. I liked letting the waves tickle your toes on page 174. Night routine, where did that go? 159 for the night routine. I liked this image of sweet solitude. I thought it was really pretty. With like the weeping willow. And that's page 235. I will say also, actually, in speaking of this and showing you guys, I thought the page numbers, this is the page number down here, I thought that was so fucking small. Like, the page numbers are so tiny where it's like I had to kind of like squint and like look to see what page I was on. So I feel like if the page numbers were just a bit bigger, like maybe 2 or maybe 3 at the most, like font size bigger, it would have been a lot better. And then I also really love this one, which also kind of reminds me of more, I know one of my friends on here was talking or requesting talking about me filming more at the lakes and such, and this one would fit really well with that. It's watching when the water sparkles at sunset, or any time really. I thought that was really pretty. It was really cool. And that was page 262. And so again, like in the back, it tells you about how these are all the other books in the series and all the other kind of stuff about it, but there's not like any kind of thing in the beginning about it, unfortunately, which I would have really liked to have more context of, to kind of understand what I'm getting into in a sense. So overall, I think that's pretty much the review. I think this might be the shortest review that I have. I think I pretty much covered everything, honestly. Like, a lot of it I did, things I did like about it was like, it kind of reminded me of things that, from college and stuff, or like things that I hadn't thought of in a while, or things that I want to do more footage on and stuff, or things I want to film in the future and all that kind of stuff. Like, that was helpful and that was cool. For instance, I thought about some volunteering stuff I used to do when I was in college. There was like a painting the fence kind of one, and I think it was one of the first times I did a volunteering thing at UMass Boston, and we went and painted like a wall inside for like a therapeutic kind of thing or something to that effect. And there was another one, I did a couple coastal cleanup kind of ones, things like that. It was really interesting. I also remember my thinking rock as a kid. I used to have a thinking rock outside and I would sit on it. There is a trigger warning for alcohol and substance use, particularly alcohol, throughout the book, but it's kind of small, but just in case. I would like to connect with more of my old college friends and such, or classmates. I think that'd be really interesting. That was something I got from this book as well. Also, reminded me, page 143 talked about, or had an image of a character with a very fancy hairdo, and it actually reminded me, and it talked on the idea of happiness is not caring what others think of you, and that reminded me of a reference to another book I filmed a review on this year, and it was Design the Long Life You Love, where like one of the people who talks in the book is about how she makes like hats out of pipe cleaners, and when she meets new people she offers them a hat that she made out of the pipe cleaners, and then that's like a way of giving kindness and like making connections with people. So that kind of hairdo, in this book reminded me of that, and I was like, oh cool, that's awesome. So I was pretty excited about that. Also, another thing that I liked for a creative idea, it was talking about a free day to do with nothing to do on page 144. The fancy hairdo was on page 143, but a free day with nothing to do on page 144. I really like to do that for this long weekend coming up. I think that'd be nice. I'll probably read a lot, but that's the plan at least. Okay, so I think that's it for this video. So again, rate this video. If you want to rate the video, feel free. But I rate this book a 2 out of 5. And this was all the page flags for it. I forgot to do this last time, so here it is all here. Toss those out. I'm gonna go out of the house for a while to return all these books. I have like 5 that I'm gonna return today, and have a very limited, if I take any out, maybe like 3. But yeah, it's late, so I gotta go. Anywho, this is the shortest review I think I've ever done, so that's really interesting. 3 discussion questions. If there's a book that you've read in a series, whether nonfiction or fiction, have you had sort of a introduction to it before you got into the meat of it, or did it just jump right in? So I guess maybe more so for nonfiction, but I guess fiction too, right? So that's the question, is have you found a book that have you read a book that was part of a series that did or did not have an introduction to each part of the series, as if you never read the first one, in a sense, like a little recap kind of thing? Second discussion question, any books on mindfulness or like self-help or psychology that you've read that you wanted me to read and review? Let me know. I really like psychology and like self-help stuff, like that's really cool, and I love reading like mindfulness and stuff like that, like habit changing and like decluttering and like interior design, home decorating. Those are like my favorite things to read. So if you have any recommendations, let me know down in the comments. And number 3, would you, on the topic of either self-help psychology or things that like art and like mindfulness, would you want me to read any? Because I can show you some of the books I own on that subject matter that I've never read, or it's been a long time since I last read, that I could do like a sort of like book tour about, and then I could share and you guys could choose the book for me to read. If that would be interesting, let me know down in the comments. As always, not just yet, hold on. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Leave a white heart if you made it this far into the video. And as always, stay safe. Much love and light to you. I will see you in another video upload soon. And thank you so much. Bye.
Guiding like a lighthouse to